Welcome to Treknicity, a Star Trek podcast. And of course, you broke me in the first second.
Yes, I win.
I'm your host, Lars.
And I'm Patrick.
And in this episode, we're going to be talking about Star Trek uniforms. The wide variety that has gone through many changes over the years and includes the aforementioned Skant.
Gant.
However, this is no ordinary episode of Treknicity. Tonight we have today, or whatever time you're listening and watching this, we have a guest. We have the amazing, and let's get to it. Hang on, let's get to the Tiermaker. So we're going to do this as Tiermaker style because that's what we do. And yeah.
It's easy.
Of course
like
it is.
my ex. Anyway.
We have a very special guest to our show. She goes by the online handle Holodeck4. Welcome, Kacie.
Hi.
See, we're dragging you along for this ride.
Regrets come later.
Yes.
Oh no.
Somewhere when we get into toss and all the mini skirt fun.
So as you can see here on the screen, we have our Tiermaker list up. This time we have quite a number of them because, quite frankly, there are many designs.
Yeah, I tried to keep it down to just one or maybe two for the main series, and I skipped most of the TNG movies because all their ones were variants on either the Voyager or DS9 ones. So there's going to be small differences we skip, and I'm sure we could go into an in-depth analysis, but we don't want to be here for 2 hours.
Nope. So
let's get started, and we're doing this chronological more or less. So, I see one mistake already. Flip that. Let's get the NX-01 Enterprise out here. Put them there for a moment. So let's talk about them.
All right. So
have at 'em.
So this actually is kind of one of my favorite style of uniforms for Star Trek, just because of the Unitarian style. Is that the word I'm looking for? I guess the
utilitarian.
Thank you. That's the one I'm looking for.
Of course it is.
It's not the Unitarian Church where we got married dressed as stormtroopers last weekend. Anyway,
I thought that was Klingon armor.
Yeah,
being that this is
yeah. So so the utilitarian look of it, and the thing is, one of the things they talked about when they were designing the entire look for Enterprise is they wanted it to look almost like a submarine in space. So these uniforms, while they are good utility uniforms, they are also very militaristic. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I love the look of them, and they have pockets. Hello.
Of course.
Yeah, I really like their uniforms. They're sharp, but they're functional.
Yeah, they kind of what they do is they kind of bridge the gap between what we see in the future and what we would put on astronauts nowadays. As you said, utilitarian is the big thing. So where are we putting these?
Well,
does it deserve an A tier, or we're going to put it squarely in the it's good but not iconic B tier?
I would be inclined to say B tier.
I'd say B2.
Done and done.
Yeah,
drop them there.
It's a little above average, but it's not knock it out of the park.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
So let's go to my least. Let's go to. Oh, and I just realized I completely forgot. I left Picard completely out of the mix. Oh well.
That's okay. You can leave it out of the mix.
So let's get to what is now certainly my least favorite Star Trek series, Discovery. And they're gold with blue, whatever this shit is.
Well,
they look like majorettes.
Yeah, they look
like in a marching band.
A marching band in space.
Yeah.
So are we in C tier already with these?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, it isn't because I would rather hit myself repeatedly in the groin than watch another season of Discovery. But again, it is the design. Now, to be fair, from seasons season. I don't want to say the end of season 3 and then all through season 4. They do go. I mean, since they go into the 32nd century, they end up changing it for something a little bit more appropriate, kind of like more of a jacket and pants type of deal, which is better. But these ones,
And that's 31st century, so that's at the very end. We're going to see those. So
exactly.
Yeah, they're not pajamas. They look like uniforms, so they get C tier, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to Strange New Worlds with their interpretation of the TOS uniform.
Okay, so are these ones? Are these the actual Strange New Worlds uniforms? Or are these the Enterprise ones from Discovery?
I am not 100% sure. Might be the latter.
Okay, because if it has the folded collar, like if the collar is actually looks like it's folded down, then that's probably the
This may not be the right picture, but we'll assume Strange New Worlds because I was having a hell of a time finding a good picture.
Yeah, well,
excuse me for just a moment. I have an alarm going off that I forgot to silence because we usually start at 11.
Oh yeah, that's right. The joys of real life intruding in on podcasting. Although, to be fair, look, I listen to Starship Tempest. That's one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. See, actually, I even bought merch. And they basically when they decided to do their show, they agreed that it was real life. So they have pets, they have kids. So half the time you'll be hearing right in the middle of playing a game, you'll hear their kids roll up on them and stuff like that. It's funny.
Oh,
so
that's so awesome.
Yeah, you got to check it out. Starship Tempest. Yep, there's another plug
for
them. So yeah, I mean, as far as Strange New Worlds version of the uniform, of course, I mean it's updated for what is classed new Trek. I do like the version that is this one definitely from Discovery season 2 because it has the black collar altogether. In the actual series, they have a V-neck design, and which is actually better. Okay. Which is better, but still not going to judge this one harshly just because it's from the Discovery show.
A or B?
I don't know. I would what do you think, Kacie? Would you say higher than Enterprise, lower than Enterprise?
Higher than Enterprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still B tier?
A little sharp, yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay.
B.
Okay, so that brings us to the OGs themselves. I'm going to put them in A tier to start just because I don't want to do them dirty. They may not make it to S tier or Scant tier. But yeah, they're the originals. We're not putting them in pajamas. That's 2 entries from now.
Well, and you think about it for a second. The original TOS uniforms, they were pretty revolutionary for what they were at the time. You didn't I felt that the women's skirt uniforms were tasteful. Of course,
come on, they were short.
But of course, they left very little to the imagination.
That was at the behest of Grace Lee Whitney herself, who wanted to show off her legs, and we see almost all of her legs.
You probably see more than her legs. Never mind.
Yeah, let's put it this way. I think the women had to shave when they wore those.
Yeah.
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 There's going to be another. There's going to be another one we have to put in here because
I don't know if I would leave them in the A tier. They are pretty awesome, but I still want to leave them around about the middle. I mean, because they're not just really hitting it out of the park. They are legendary in their own right, but they're still kind of
I think I could probably agree with that. We will perma-lock them at the top of the B tier because they are the original. Nothing can go above them. Speaking of nothing going above them, let's talk about the Abrams version.
That's a tough call. That's a real tough call because I really like them.
Yeah, we can't put because it's a variation on the toss one. We cannot put it above that. So it's good. It's by necessity has to be in B tier for that reason.
Okay, but where in the B tier? Right below toss or
Below Strange New Worlds.
I would still say that I like the Abrams verse uniforms more than the Strange New Worlds ones.
Because for all the myriad faults, the Abrams ones looked really good on screen.
Yeah.
When you could see them between the lens flares.
Yeah, they're pretty darn sharp. I like them.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll put them up there. Okay, so let's continue on our trek into the stars. I'm just gonna put the motionless pictures ones down in pajamas.
Oh yeah.
Do we have to say anything else about this?
No, I mean those things were just like the monochrome pajamas. Like I mean the only thing that was missing were like the fuzzy slippers.
Yeah. Kirk's Admiral's uniform was tolerable. I think that could squeak C tier, but yeah.
But no, just
this looked sad, like the movie. If you could keep your eyes awake. So yeah. So that one's easy. I don't even. Do we really have to argue on that one? No.
No.
So let's get to the Monster Maroon.
That is
from Star Trek 2 on. There's lots of variations to it, and they had some variants for the things. I'm willing to say this needs just to go straight to A tier because it's one of the most iconic ones.
Oh, absolutely. It is probably the most iconic one next to the TOS ones. They're most recognizable anyways.
And they're cool looking.
True.
Yeah.
They are cool looking.
The variations we saw on them, like the ones from 2, 3, and 4 remain the same. 5 started to change it up a little bit, and then you got Kirk's suede jacket to go with it. And then in 6, that was my favorite one because even Dr. McCoy's his collar, instead of it being white, it was actually green. And then of course, when you saw them in Generations, they were back to just the white collars. Which is fine. I think Scotty's was yellow. So,
yeah. A side note on color, I gotta take it back to the TOS uniforms. I do have a side note on color. You remember Kirk had 2 variants of uniforms. He had the yellow, and he had the green one.
The green tunic.
Yeah, they were the same color.
Really?
But because of the different fabrics and the lighting, most of the uniforms appeared in the command gold and ultimately were portrayed in command gold instead of the more greenish material that Kirk's uniform was.
Huh. See?
Found that out while looking for pictures, and it's like, I gotta go back and share that. That is cool. I was going to I forgot the picture of Kirk's alternate.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, lighting in the 60s gave us 2 different colors for Kirk and gave us her command gold.
For a second, I thought you were gonna say it's like that. It's the whole thing where you look at the dress. What color is it? It's like.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yep.
It's like, is it blue or is it gold?
Well, that's how those old scientists rolled.
Yep.
Those old scientists.
Yep. I gotta represent. Okay. So I think we're ready for the next generation.
Yes, these are the what would you call these the unitard designs? What would you call them?
Yep. Basically, I have a unitard back there myself. It's called footy pajamas. They're obviously they inspired the look for the remainder of the start of the TNG DS9 Voyager era uniforms. So they definitely are at the top of pajamas, but they were pajamas and terrible.
Yeah, they were.
But they're.
Well, look, I mean, I've been recently watching through season 1 of TNG, and
our condolences.
Yeah, I mean, well, look,
it's not that bad.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean,
you've watched Code of Honor, haven't you?
Well, yeah. I mean,
enough said.
Okay. Worst Star Trek episode ever.
Yeah,
and I've seen Spock's brain. So, I mean, come on. But Yeah, I mean these ones are down there. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, they were kind of they were interesting for the time, but just listening to Will Wheaton talk about it in Still Just a Geek, he talks about how unbearably hot those uniforms were because I'm pretty sure they were either spandex or lycra or something.
And he didn't even have to wear them. He got sweaters.
Yeah, he got to my okay. So side note,
All sweaters.
What was the best Wesley uniform, not including when he actually went to Starfleet Academy and got the red Starfleet uniform? Which is the best one?
And I'm also not talking. I assume you're also not talking the acting. Are you talking like including the acting ensign one, the gray?
Well, yeah, the gray the gray one with the silver com badge. There was the multicolored rainbow top one.
That's the best.
There was the red cable knit sweater. I mean, that thing was like I wanted to see the size of the needles they used to knit that sweater for him. Man, it must have been as big as my arm. You know.
Yeah. Okay, where are we putting the Scant?
Oh, the
S tier?
No, hell no.
Oh, come on. The guys had to really, their tidy whities had to be really tight so their junk didn't fall out the bottom. Seriously, look at. It was a mini skirt for guys.
Yeah, but still. I mean, no.
Bottom of C or pajamas?
They got to be in pajama time because I mean, come on. If you're gonna throw the unitards in there, you got to put the Scants in there.
Yeah, I agree.
So let me ask the question: what is the difference between a Scant and a Skort?
More air.
I think a Skort is actually is the skirt paired with pants. So I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I could be wrong. If anybody's watching this,
did you say skirt or
Skort?
Squirt or skirt? You said squirt.
Oh, no. Well, you know, I mean, see, when we say things like that, I'm gonna have to start implementing this every time somebody lets a Freudian slip. We're gonna have to just throw up a giant picture of a big grinning Riker.
Yeah. Frank's shit-eating grin.
Yeah.
Yes, we need that. Okay, add that to the thing so whenever you need to, you can put on a big Frank's shit-eating grin in the middle of the screen. Yes.
Yep.
That sounds like a plan.
Oh my goodness. Well,
okay.
At least this episode wasn't boring.
Nope. So where's the TNG going? The later seasons TNG.
Oh yeah, those are in the A tiers because those are awesome.
Yeah, way up there.
Yep. They're not quite. They're not Maroon or Monster Maroon legendary, but they are badass. Hell, even when Jellicoe put Deanna Troi in the blue uniform, that was just chef's kiss.
That was the greatest thing.
She was beautiful in that. It was a really good decision.
Yeah. Prior to that, it was revealing, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
Although there's also discussion that once they put Deanna Troi in the uniform, her IQ went up when she was in her sexy outfits. She was just dumb with boobs.
Okay, so in Encounter at Farpoint, she was in a skirt, okay, or a scant, if you like. Okay, it looked like. I mean, seriously, the number of times that her eyes well up, you would have thought that's like Worf had just ripped a ripe one on the bridge because her eyes were watering all the time. Like, oh, and then the same thing happened when they put her in the power, the 80s power business suit, you know, with her hair up in the bun. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Then of course they started in that evolved into the what color? The burgundy? Is that the burgundy one?
Yeah.
With the plunging neckline,
because boobs.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I remember seeing her at a Star Trek convention back in '94, and two things came up during that conversation or during her question and answer segment that stood out. One was for some reason there's these two guys who kept wanting her to talk about her movie. I think it was called The Bad Mother, and it's a movie where she gets her top off. And of course, I mean, she was pretty tasteful about it. She's pretty, I guess, tactful, I should say, about steering clear of that one. The other thing was because at the time I think, no, it was '94, so it was right towards the end of the series. So, but they did talk about the burgundy outfit, and she said specifically they made her wear a camisole underneath to make her boobs look bigger. And I'm like, they don't do that on TV. What better way to get a bunch of prepubescent, horny teenage guys to watch Star Trek? And it's they did the same thing when they brought in Dax for DS9, and then
Although to be fair, she was mostly an intelligent character, awesome to look at, but was not primarily featured as eye candy.
Right, and I mean, and it wasn't until
unlike 7 of 9.
Right, it wasn't until 7 of 9 in Voyager, and she was brought in specifically to boost the ratings. And then of course they carried on that tradition when they cast Jolene Blalock as T'Pol. The number of times that they just skirted the line so much on that show, like, wow, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, when your creator is Gene Roddenberry, tits happen.
Yeah, Gene Hornyberry. Jeez, man, that guy. Oh,
yeah. I've only watched 7 hours of videos about how horny he was. Not kidding.
Yeah.
That's just original series through TNG.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, and then also there's another really cool creator who does Star Trek videos, and that is Jessie Gender. She's a transgendered woman who does a lot of sexuality-based Star Trek videos, and just
that's the 7 hours I'm talking about.
Of course,
like 4 hours of discussing sex in Star Trek. Some of it's pretty bad, but yeah. So,
all right,
let's get on to this and get to the next. Okay, so DS9. While I was looking at that, I realized DS9 and Voyager, they basically have the same uniforms to begin with.
They do. They have the colored. I guess what would you call it? The collars.
The collars. Yeah.
The upper part with the gray collar.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the horrible Bajoran uniforms.
Yeah, those were so terrible.
These were pretty bad.
And the thing is that, like Nana Visitor as Kira, she was just a consummate badass in Star Trek. And I don't know, they had that 90s coif and I swear, I mean, look, I've seen Russian gangsters with less garish outfits.
So here's the question: where are we putting them? Because Voyager's following them immediately. Voyager's going one above this one because obviously the Bajoran uniforms. Voyager wear them better overall.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think, Kacie? I'm torn because I think they're acceptable enough to be in the B tier, but at the same time, I think if we had to choose between a B and a C, I'd still go C.
I'd still put them in. I'd put them in B.
Yeah.
Bottom of B.
Yeah, bottom of B. Yeah.
And Voyager's going to follow them right above because it's essentially the same uniforms.
Yeah, just they wore it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, Tim Russ. I mean, the dude rocked it.
Yeah.
He sure did. Yeah.
Side note, my friend Andre, who has guest hosted here on us with this show with us before, he's a saxophone player, and he was part of Tim Russ's band for a while. So I went out and did couple of times I went out and shot gigs where he played with him, and I got to meet him afterwards, and totally chill guy, just so cool.
Awesome. So cool.
All right.
So that brings us to the later DS9 uniforms. A side note, I think Generations used the first generation DS9 Voyager uniforms,
They did, yeah.
or variants of, and then they switched to the later DS9 ones. Where are we putting those?
Okay, these are like my second favorite outfits. I mean, they gotta be in the A tier for me.
Above TNG?
I'll leave that to you guys. I'll leave it to you guys, but it's got to be in the A tier for
I
me.
put it after.
I think I'd agree. The gray with the color collars kind of made it a little bit more of a uniform.
Yeah.
Kind of one of the things that made it a little bit weird is too much color. For the original series, it was fine, but
Okay, all right, I'll go with it.
and keeping get lessing color on DS9 and Void, definitely one of those things. But yeah, when they get down to the single, it looks the most uniform.
Yeah.
All right.
So I did pull this one as well. This is from obviously the worst existing Star Trek movie, because Star Trek and bullshit doesn't exist. The dress uniforms, the white coats.
I honestly don't know where to go with those ones because they are nice, but they're rather unimpressive to me.
Do have the option to completely throw them off the list, or we could chuck them down in the. They're just trying to be fancy.
I would say they're average. So you could put them in the C tier if you like.
Yeah.
I'll put them above
Discovery.
Discovery because it's Discovery.
Yeah, Discovery.
Now we get down to the rat killing ones, man. Ooh.
Lower Decks. Obviously, these are animated, so you have a little more consistency and you have a little less detail for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tough call. I mean, they are very I guess they remain very true to the later TNG seasons. So I would almost be willing to put them in the A. I mean, if they're either low A or high B for me.
Yeah, and since high B is taken by TOS, and then Enterprise, yeah, I could see those A because they're vibrant. They got the main colors and the black shoulder cap.
I still
with the little.
I still have a beef with Lower Decks, okay, because they should not be able to make a cartoon sexy, as that's not right.
Unless they're intentionally doing so.
Okay, so Tendi walking around in a towel, no. Okay, just no. Anyways.
Oh, I have a few sites that I'd probably suggest for you.
No.
Oh.
No.
Thankfully, I haven't looked that up. Anyway.
All right, onwards and upwards. Let's get this.
Well, we're going to go to Prodigy here.
Prodigy.
I didn't go with their street clothes, the stuff they normally win. I went with the actual uniform, and win this again.
I don't know how you guys feel, but I don't really like them all that much. I don't know. I like their non-uniform.
So I'm just gonna go with whatever you guys do because I don't even watch that one.
I would have thought I would have thought
it's worth watching. It's a slow burn, but
with you
it gets there.
Yeah, with you having a young child, I would have thought that would have been right up your alley.
I know. I just can't get him into it. But he'll watch like Enterprise with us, TNG. He loves it.
It could be like my son who my son refuses to watch anything Star Trek. Yeah, he'll watch Bad Batch. He'll watch, any of the Star Wars series.
Well, that's because Star Wars is better, but that's beside the point. Although, to be honest, until Andor came out, and I still got to watch it, Star Trek was killing it for me, where Star Wars was kind of failing.
Yeah.
Especially in the movie category.
Yeah, wait till you watch Andor.
So, yeah. But yeah, so the question is, do we put them at the bottom of the C tier, or do we chuck them in PJs?
I want to be nice to them and not throw them in the PJ category. So I'd be okay right where they're at right now.
Okay, we'll leave them the bottom of D, even below Discovery. Although, to their credit, at least they have Janeway and normal uniform, and Hollow Janeway or actual Admiral Janeway. Either way, good, automatic.
Yep,
because all Janeway. Honorable mention for Picard. I forgot to put that in again, but well,
and the thing is,
it's your least favorite series, or is it Discovery now?
Discovery's still my least favorite series. Picard season 1 made me rage quit. Picard season 2 was definitely a lot better. I was a lot happier with that, even though I still wasn't fully happy with the way it played out. Maybe it's just the whole season long story arc thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got left?
Yeah, but to be fair, we have got 31st Century Discovery.
Again,
that's
they're
the gray ones with the gray jackets with the color stripes.
On
the right.
Those aren't. Are you sure those aren't the ones from Starfleet Academy from the Abrams? Because didn't they? Is that what they had? They had the gray uniforms with. Oh, those are the dress ones, weren't they? With the stupid.
No,
hats.
those were all red though. No, that's Sonequa Martin Green standing in the middle there. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm just being facetious. I'm just being a dick.
You're always a dick, though. So.
Yeah.
I don't know when you're trying to be more of a dick.
Yeah, I try to follow Will Wheaton's philosophy of don't be a dick, but I mean,
fail.
I live in California. I mean, I think
double fail.
Yeah. So okay. What do you think, Kacie? I mean, again, they're average to me. They're not that impressive. The later season ones, like the season 4 ones, where they had the full on jacket with the color of their branch, which was pretty decent. Wasn't too sure about how they did because they do the rank insignia as like this metal bar that goes right across the throat. And I'm like, So.
No, I'm kind of about that one too. I mean, that would be pretty low. C.
B or C?
C.
Yeah.
D?
That's pajama. So are we putting him at the very bottom of C tier?
No, let's put him in the pajama.
Those aren't pajamas though.
Oh, fine. Then put them at the end of C.
Okay, done.
Because they're worse than the Prodigy ones. So
okay,
so there you
that's
have
fair.
It. So there you have.
So
it.
now we got to pick our S tier.
Yes, we have to pick
our candidates.
Our candidates, I think, are the Monster Maroon,
TNG
later seasons. We have the DS9 later seasons, and of course Lower Decks. I really like the DS9s and the TNGs, but I'm a big but the Monster Maroons kind of just there's something cooler about them.
Yeah, they feel more regal.
Yeah.
Like there is an air. Yeah, there's an air of elegance to them. Especially when you see them wearing them in Star Trek 6. Like they look like flag officers. I mean, they look like guys who make a career out of being badass.
And anytime they appear in the other series, it's like your eyes immediately drawn to them. And they do appear in TNG, Yesterday's Enterprise, for example.
That was the Enterprise C they were on.
Yeah, they rock the Monster Maroons. I think that's probably one of the longest serving uniforms because that carried for ever.
Yeah, tons of them. So,
plus the original cast wears them well. So they go in the Scant tier, along with the Scant. No, just kidding.
You could put the Scant up there if you want as an honorable S tier, but still, I still think Monster Maroons
going into
are better.
Pajamas.
Yeah,
fuck the Scant.
So there you have it. That is our tier maker list for the uniform styles of Star Trek. I think it's a good balance. I mean, there was a lot more in the B tier than I thought there was going to be, but I think we did it pretty well. I think our choices are pretty on point. If you guys,
pat yourself on the back, you know you want to.
for anybody who's watching it, if you agree with us, disagree with us, let us know in the comments. And yeah, and we might do another.
Blame us. We dare you.
So that is all the time we have for this episode of Treknicity. Be sure to look down here. See down there on the bottom of the screen? See that bar? That's where all of our social medias are. And Kacie, why don't you
subscribe, all that shit.
Yeah, Kacie, why don't you tell our wonderful viewers how they can find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram as holodeck4. That's the numeric 4. But as far as everything else goes, Twitter, TikTok, it's holodeck4, F-O-U-R. So that's how you find me.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for being on our show with us. It was an absolute
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sure it will not be the last that we see of you.
Yes.
Alrighty. So thank you again for watching Treknicity. I'm Lars.
I'm Patrick.
And as always, we encourage you to rock out, which is Spock out. We'll see you next time.